a journalist, when you are trying to create a compelling story, try to make your teaser a short one. Because always remember that majority of your audiences come through the mobile. So, and in mobile, if you have like a very long teaser, it will even cover maybe half of the screen. So you don't need to give them a long teaser, a short one, which is going to be intriguing and interesting. And when you build this audience network, you will have loyal audiences who will always go there looking for contents from you because they know you have something good in store for them. And then when they share, they are bringing new audiences every day. And as a journalist, you don't only need loyal audiences, you also want new ones to be coming, and they're returning audiences. So the next thing we have is optimization for digital distribution. Think of your platforms. Every platform is taught differently. There are some stories that they are only for Facebook, because Facebook, we identify it as midlife crisis. Yes. All the people like my age, blah, 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 we are there. That's where we consume our content. Yeah. It's midlife crisis. So when taking your story to Facebook, have it in your mind that this is a particular category, a special category of audiences that you are like sharing your stories with. So the headline may be different from the one you are sending to Instagram. And you know what we call Instagram? Show off platform. Yes. If you want to show off, full of pride, just go to Instagram. They don't even consume local, like grassroots stories, unless if you tweak them, make them beautiful, or make them more emotional. But when I say emotional, I don't want you to be sensational. As a journalist, write it as it is. But you just have to tweak it, make it more emotional. That's when Instagram people will start, in your comment section. You just have to do that. That's when your audience. And then WhatsApp, like we have WhatsApp channels now, we call it best friends. Best friend. Because I think the first platform everybody checks is WhatsApp. That's where you get messages from your family and friends. So definitely when you take your WhatsApp, it is your best friend, and the media organizations are now taking opportunity of taking advantage of WhatsApp and sharing their stories. So because it is a best friend and it can people share content easily on WhatsApp because all they need to do at once you can share to 5-10 groups at a time. So WhatsApp is also that one is best friend. We don't that's the category we put it. And then Twitter. Twitter is loud. We all know. And Twitter, there is if you have a Twitter page for your organization, you can spend 10 years without getting 1 million followers. But they can drag you. Like you can share your story, they can retweet and drag you and make it a topical issue on social media. So Twitter people are just loud. We leave them at the app. And then apart from Twitter, we have what other platform do we have? Okay, Snapchat is childish. We don't even share stories on Snapchat as journalists because that's a childish platform, to be honest. Most of our children are there and our younger ones. So we call Messenger needy, and as well for journalists, I don't think we use Facebook Messenger regularly for sharing stories. Then the newest is TikTok. That one we call it the crazy platform. Yes, the crazy. If you check your content on TikTok, because of how the algorithm works, you will see wonders. It will fly. You will get numbers, but then you just have to be careful because not like Instagram, but somehow like Facebook, people will watch and they will share, but they can insult, abuse, harass, intimidate, and whatever you call it. So, and that's where mental health comes in. You just have to be careful as a journalist. If these people are dragging you, sometimes you just feel down. You feel like as if you will leave the profession. So this is for creating compelling content and make it authentic and consistent. Consistency is key. If you are not consistent as a journalist, people will not be going to your page. Because what is it that you post a story this morning and they will not see another one until maybe next day afternoon? So you are not consistent at all. What are you telling your audiences? That you are not ready in the market. You are not there to sell any products. To be honest, consistency is key. Consistency in publishing and optimization. Sometimes you can publish immediately, sometimes you will just use the analytical tools and they will let you know when your audiences are coming online. So all you need to do is to schedule your post and leave it. It will just the social media analytical tool will release your content when it realizes that there are people online. There are people on Facebook, it releases your content. There are people on Instagram, it releases your. That's why, as a journalist, using social media and using analytical tools are very, very important because they help us to grow. Yeah, so we'll come to the next question, the psychology behind why people connect with stories. I don't know if there is anyone who is ready to answer this question for me before I dive into it. The psychology behind why people connect with stories. You all connect with stories. Why do you do that?
It depends on the style and the kind of just like the way you talked about the teaser, the headlines, and so on. So the headlines will activate the audience to be able to connect with your story.
Exactly. Exactly. That's it. The psychology behind why people connect with stories, there is sometimes this emotional resonance. I mentioned emotion earlier. If your story is emotional, like a story of a young girl who is under pressure to marry, I'm talking from my region, northern Nigeria, is very common. Once you are 25 or 26 and you are not married, you face a lot of pressures from all angles. Your mom, your dad, your siblings, your aunties. Everybody will be a stakeholder in your life, including your yes, yes. Everybody, including the people that pass in front of your house, they will be stakeholders. They will be stopping and be asking like, when is she getting married? And that will have like it will take a toll on your health, on your mental health. So for example, as a journalist, I get that kind of girl and I do an interview with her, and then maybe in the interview she tells me something captivating, something attractive. Maybe she said that I don't sleep peacefully in the last 5 years because my mother always disturbs me to get married. You can imagine the mother and daughter connection, but still she faces that problem. So the moment you see the headline, you become emotional. You become emotional and say, oh my God, let me listen to this girl. And most especially if it is in video, and you are lucky as a journalist that when you are doing the interview, she's even crying. Shedding tears doing like this. Oh my God, before the time you will become emotional, you won't even know. Even as a journalist, when you are doing the interview, you have to be very careful because if you become emotional, you may end up disrupting your interview. So you don't want that. But let the audiences become emotional. It's very good. That's what we want. And this is one of the psychology of story connection. And the second one is relatability. So a Turkish person will like a story from Istanbul, Ankara, Izmir more than a story from Ghana, Nigeria, or Niger. Because this one they can relate. Even from the way you are narrating it happens, the name of the people involved in the story, because they are familiar with all the names, it becomes more relatable and they will like the story more. The only time you will like international stories is when it involves maybe Palestine, Gaza, Trump. Trump is very, stories about Trump are very interesting sometimes as an international audience. But if not, relatability is another key factor uh, in the psychology of story connection. Then number three is empathy and perspective taking. Stories allow us to step into others' shoes broadening our perspective and increasing empathy. Yeah. So the question number 3 that I'm supposed to answer here is to give examples of brands that use storytelling successfully. And the first brand that I will give an example with, don't say I'm selfish, I will mention TLT Africa, Hausa, before I go to the rest. So in TLT Africa Hausa, we started 2 years ago exactly. On March 1st will be 2 years. But already we have become known in our market in Nigeria and Niger. In fact, people now are even giving example the way they are mentioning BBC Hausa every time when it comes to journalism. People are now giving example with TRT Hausa. Have you seen it? So why? Why? Because we have already established our brand. And one key thing that I want to give an example with is there is something we do in TRT Africa Hausa that even BBC. I was part of BBC transformation, I told you, in 3 places. But to be honest, there is something that we do in TRT Africa Hausa that even BBC Hausa doesn't do it now. And that thing is daily video explainers. So this is something that we established ourselves with. Daily video explainers. All our audiences now, they are even waiting and they know the time we post it unfailingly every day, Monday to Friday. We post our daily explainers. And that the explainers, what we do is we take a topical issue, we analyze it, we talk to analysts, we add value to it, we move it forward because there is something with stories. In BBC, they categorize stories into 6: update me, give me perspective, keep me on trend, divert me, inspire me, and I forgot the other one. So most of our stories that we consume are update me for immediate consumption, breaking news. So what we do in TRT Africa Hausa, those breaking news, we take them, we add value to them, we move them forward, we talk to analysts, we analyze them, we bring out solutions to them, and then a presenter will come and present it in a video and we post. And that's something that people are identifying us with it. And we stand out among the competitors. The second example is BBC Hausa. BBC Hausa service employs storytelling in its journalism to address local issues, and they share community stories. To be honest, this is something that they have been doing in the last 65 years, I think. We all grew up in Nigeria knowing BBC Hausa. It's like a national anthem in every household, every morning. Your parents and your grandparents must listen to BBC Hausa. So you just have to do it. You just have to follow the. So yeah. So BBC Hausa has already built its brand on this, and they are still standing strong and tall in the market. And number 3 example is in northern Nigeria we have Arewaworld 24, and this television network focuses on northern Nigeria's culture, entertainment, and stories. And Arewaworld 24 produces shows that highlight local traditions, challenges, and success stories, fostering a connection with the audiences through relatable content. And we just mentioned relatability in the last topic we discussed about. That relatability is key. And that this is one thing why people in northern Nigeria connect with Arewaworld 24. But Arewaworld 24 is not a news organization. It's just for entertainment, showcasing cultures. And it is doing a wonderful and amazing job. So these are 3 examples that I want to give. And I hope you go and do some research about these 3 brands, TRT Africa Hausa, BBC Hausa, and Arewaworld 24. Arewaworld 24 is available on, they have their own app on Play Store, Arewa On Demand. For the Turkish people, they even show Turkish series a lot, and they translate them to Hausa. And this is even one of the reasons that if you go to Nigeria now, some people can speak Turkish without even coming to Turkey. They have never been in Turkey, but they can speak Turkish. And it's just because they are watching the Turkish series. So at this juncture, I would like to say thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Halima, for your wonderful speech. And when experience speaks, you have to listen. That's how we learned it. You can tell that she's been through and through with the whole media sector, and would like to thank her again for sharing her valuable experiences with us. I don't know, is anyone aspiring to be a journalist who wants to tell a story? Anyone? Do we have aspiring journalists in the room? You? We have no journalists. This guy's. Do we have engineers here? Business? Which one? Which one? Toronto. Oh, you have a business. So I was actually going to ask a question. So she spoke about building your brand online and also how to reach your audience and everything. So can you maybe tell us how do you have an online platform for your brand? Instagram. So can you just briefly tell us how you navigate it?
So I do it with my sister. So basically, I take photos like with customers for their in Turkey, and she does the one in Nigeria. So we do it together.
So you have an international brand. It's both in Turkey and also in Nigeria. Cool, cool. Thank you very much. You just arrived, right? No, she's been here? No, okay, perfect. I can see her. All right, so inviting next to the panel, uh, Mr. Nasidi. I don't know how to introduce you. I think you would do justice to that. But he is a seasoned journalist, not any kind of journalist, a proper journalist. He's been through and through, not only in Turkey, Nigeria. We spoke just earlier on. He told me he's been in Senegal, Dakar, right? And also other places. He also launched many channels. So he's, again, not only a journalist, he has also launched channels, built brands and everything. So he would be able to tell us, about storytelling, building brands, maintaining a brand, rising a brand on, the social platforms. Mr. Nasidi, please take the stage. Also, would like to, try to limit it between 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Nasidi Ademiyahaya, and I think actually Halima has already told our part of the story, because Halima and I are the best colleague, and she's the most intelligent woman I've ever worked with. And to be honest, we've been working for more than 15 years, like sitting together, like here, next to each other. So whatever she was saying is like the same thing I was going to say, but I just want to add something, a brief story, because based on what Abdullahi told me or gave me, the topic he gave me to discuss, he's talking about bridging the old media and also the new media. And I feel like he's actually deliberately choosing me to do that because I'm old. Yeah, I have to be honest, because I was thinking, why would you want me to talk about radio and television and also talk about social media at the same time, So Aliva was there, but she wasn't choosing to discuss that. But to be honest, I want to tell you a story based on what you mentioned earlier. I wanted to become a journalist when I was young. For Hausa audiences here, or Hausa speakers here, they must, or they might have known Phil Kura, who worked with the VOA Hausa service years ago. That person was my neighbor, so I wanted to I wanted to become a journalist. And when I finished my secondary school, I wanted to study mass communication in the UK by University Kano, but I was rejected. I wasn't given mass communication, and they said that, okay, I will be given Hausa. I said, okay, let me have it. Then my second department was mass comm. But because I wanted to become a journalist, I started writing articles for Daily Trust newspapers then. That was in 2003. So you can imagine. I wanted to become a journalist, and I was contributing to daily trust newspapers, writing articles, criticizing the local government, and so on and so forth. So when in 2004 I finished my first degree, uh, I saw daily trust advertising. I just applied. I didn't know anybody, and they invited me for an interview. When they say why do you want to join us? I told them I've been your staff indirectly because I've been contributing uh, articles and pieces and so on and so forth. So that's my goal. Talking about goal, you understand? I worked with Daily Trust for some time in Nigeria, covering especially Nigeria's parliament. Then uh, when I don't know if some of you knew the late President Yaradua, I was the one that broke his story about not his death, but when acting President Goodluck Jonathan was being given that role, I was the only journalist actually that reported that because I got that from as a seasoned lawmaker, Farouk Law, because of the trust we had in the standard government. So that was how we were like working. And now I applied for BBC, joined the BBC. Now here we are. So in short, what I'm trying to say is like I have never had someone asking me to do what I wanted to do. Okay, ask me to do ABC, do this, do that, and you become this. I wanted to become a journalist. Okay, how do you become a journalist? Just like you mentioned earlier. I was doing A, B, C. So I'm saying this so that those of us that are young, uh, just like Haji Halima said, if you have an intention to become a journalist or anything or anybody, so you have to have that at the back of your mind. What are the ABCs of all those stuff? You understand? Then you start pursuing your dream. So talking about the dream, I am here as one of the speakers. And when you talk about entrepreneurship, the first thing actually that got me thinking that was the interview I had with Africa's billionaire Aliko Dangote in 2019. So I waited for him in his Lagos office for 2.5 hours. And when he came, he told me that he had only 2 minutes for me. Yeah. He said 2 minutes. But because I am a journalist, I started with a very hard question. Then there was like a fight between Dangote and Abdul Samad Isiakarabiu. He is also an industrialist. So the former vice president of Nigeria, Emil Shumbajo, was trying to negotiate the two. So I threw that question to him. I said, okay, you're being accused of not really accepting this negotiating stuff. That was when Dangote agreed to spend 1 hour. You understand? So like I was. Then we started the stuff. So Abdullah asked me to, like I said, to speak about creating the personal brand through content, and I'm sure Haji Halima has already done justice to that, and also the social media versus traditional media, what works best, and so on and so forth. So, of course, we all know, to start with this, what is this place? According to you?
Mobile phone. Smartphone.
Anyway, what is this? Okay, anything? Okay, another one.
It's basically your second wife.
Very good. No, you're coming. Very good. Very good. So my former editor at BBC, her name is Jamila Tengada, did the same thing like in 2010 to us. Then I said, this is actually a bomb. She said, yes, because that would destroy your home. Right? So that's it. You have, it serves different purposes. And based on the recent data we have, talking about social media, I think the data reporter April Global, just what I saw from them, they said that more than half of the world now uses social media. That's 62.6%. That's really incredible, So that means that you need to tailor your contents according to this population. Because we're talking about 60 people. More than 62% of people using social media. So what do you do? How do you do it? I'm sure, like I said, Halima's already done that. Done justice to it. But what is the difference between the traditional media and now the social media? When I was working with Daily Trust, we had in Abuja, for example, we had where the newspapers readers association. You always see them in the morning, like the newspaper stand, reading stories, discussing them, and like even fighting over stories.
Yeah.
I think we don't have them anymore now, and you have to walk a mile. Actually, I was a reporter, but I have to walk a mile to go and buy a newspaper every morning. Come and see. Oh, then I had just started. Oh, I have my banner here. And I felt happy that I had my banner. But now you have everything on your phone, right? So the 2 days ago we celebrated World Radio Day. World Radio Day, but as you know, radio is dying. People were using Kichibo, the radio. I was just telling Hi earlier that I was radio maniac, but I can't remember the last time actually I even heard a radio, the literal radio. So everything we were doing, the newspaper is dying or is dead, right? Like the paper newspaper is dead. The TV, nobody cares about it unless because you have your phones there. Um, Radio is dead, newspaper is dead, television is dead, and so on and so forth. So everything now revolves around social media. Like Halima said, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have all these the categories and so on and so forth, and all of them are here. They are on your phone. So what you do, or what actually you must do, if you are really creating content, is you have to consider, okay, you have to know that you are on this social media. You have to have presence on the web, especially social media, because even if we're talking about website, of course, but most of the content are consumed via phone. And I think the last figures we talk about, I think even the web, 90 something percent was being consumed on our phone and so on and so forth. So literally the shift in the sun we have, and I'm happy to say that I am one of the breeders now, because I saw the age of like television or newspaper or radio. Like I said, I was in money, and now I'm into the digital. And even at that, when we were discussing issues like during our editorial meetings, I always ask Haja Halima and like those that are 40 and you understand, and tell okay, please just let's young guys contribute because they know better than us. The younger ones, they are now our mirror. We tailor our contents toward them because when we are creating content, we ask ourselves, who are the consumers? We know the consumers and we know our target audiences. So, and we know their ages. So we ask the younger ones in our team, okay, uh, if you are going to consume this content as a consumer, not as a producer or so and so on and so forth, what do you do? Will you criticize ABC? So that's the way we do this business. You understand? We are using our skills. It's just like we are trying to use our skills as the old breed now plus the younger ones. Then we now dish out our content. And I think I'm very proud to say that in the last 2 years, we launched TRT Africa Hausa, for example. We beat BBC. BBC has been there for 65 years. But BBC, I have to tell you, BBC is not our competitor. Yeah, BBC Hausa is not our competitor. So because we use our skills and we use the younger ones and we know the market better. she mentioned that. Like I said, I'm referring to her frequently because she has actually said almost everything I want to say. So we use that kind of skills. We use our skills as the older generation and also the younger ones, and pass our message across. So, by and large, what I'm trying to say is, when you are creating content, when you are talking about the bridge between the radio or the old media or the traditional media and the current social media, you have to. Generally, the idea is the same thing, because when you are talking about discussing editorial issues, nothing changes. Obviously, content is sold based on its quality. It's not the quantity. We've done transformation, 3 times when we were working at BBC. We used to publish like let's say 20 stories every day, but it's quality over quantity. Sometimes we publish just 3 stories, and when they serve their purpose and they get to the audience, you see if they are qualitative, you see they travel faster and they'll be shareable. And so the purpose is, what do you have as a content creator? Because like in Hausa, we say it's not the market, the big market that matters. It's the people that go to the market. So when you have a big market, beautiful one, and nobody is going to the market, you understand? You lose. So it's you that will determine, like, okay, who are our audiences? What do they want to consume? And give them what they want to consume, and in the best form, in the best taste. When you have the best content, actually you don't need to have a marketer. Talking about the gimmick, the issue of marketing, just go original. We have an original content at TRT Hausa that has been watched, a video of a female driver from. So this is it. A Hausa lady driving a truck. This is unusual in northern Nigeria. You understand? She spent years driving that truck, and I think it gave us more than 10 million, right, Lima?
Yes.
So you understand? It's the content that actually matters, the originality of the content. You don't just dish out everything and expect your audiences or people to. And don't forget, people when selling your content, you have to consider also the geographical location of your audiences. At the moment, there are issues with uh, the geography of our audiences. People don't have money, so people rarely buy data. When they do, they want to consume the best content. So you have to consider that while actually thinking about your content, because I can't just buy data and now just watch rubbish. You understand? So these are some of the issues that I want us to look at when we are thinking about businesses, or when we are thinking about creating content, or when we are thinking about how to communicate with our audiences. I hope I make some sense there.
I'd like to thank Mr. Nasidi for his input. He shared with us very much experience, and also kind of built on what Ms. Halima said. Basically, I took a few notes. I don't know if you guys took notes from what he said. Does anyone remember some of the things that he said as to how to build an online presence, or how to maintain an online presence? Anyone? You have to be original. You have to be original. Quality over quantity. Okay. Dependent. Yes. Anyone? Okay. All right. That's fine.
Never give up.
Sorry.
You should never give up on your dreams.
Of course, you have to be resilient. I mean, if you're not resilient with your dream, then you're gonna keep asleep. If you have a good content, you really don't need marketing. Yeah, of course, building trust, network. He spoke about the story from I think the Arewaworld story, right? and he got that through network. Network is your net worth. That's what they say, right? I want to share a personal story. While we are at it, everyone is sharing, so there goes nothing. So a couple of years ago, I think in 2017, I was doing my master's, and I had this tourist from Korea. I was in, now here's the story. I was in Ankara. I'm Nigerian, and there are these people from Korea who want to tour Ankara. So I was delegated. I knew nothing about this, the castle, the Ankara castle, and the guy told me to, take them around, and he'll pay me at the end of the day. I said, okay, fine. I took them there. I spoke a little bit of Korean. I don't now. I spoke a little bit of Korean with them, and I, told them about Ankara and everything, and I came back. So when it was time for him to pay me, I was expecting at the time 200 liras. 200 liras at that time was good money. Don't right now it's nothing. You can't even buy chicken doner with 200 liras. But that time you could buy a few. You'd be full for a couple of days. So he gave me. I was expecting 200 liras, but he gave me 100. And I said this was not what we agreed upon. And he was like, "Yeah, but I'm gonna teach you something very valuable." I'm like, "Man, ain't nobody got time for that. Just give my money and we should be done." So he told me something in Turkish, actually. He said, I'm going to say it in Turkish, then I'll translate. He said, para biriktirme, insan biriktir. So don't, who can help me? Yeah, don't accumulate money, accumulate people. So basically, your network is your net worth. So that day, of course, I was hurt because I was expecting more money, but that thing stuck with me. And I made it a life mission that whatever I do, however I do it, I don't care. I'm just gonna build a connection, a web of people, because no one has ever achieved anything without the help of people. Um, our founder here, he wanted to do this, but again, he needed all of us to be here for this dream to actualize. And with the sponsors of AFEX, with me being here, you sitting down, our speakers, this wouldn't be a reality without everyone being present here today. And as I can see, our number is growing. So everyone give a round of applause for yourself. We're getting more people in. All right, great. So now we've spoken about media, accessibility, reachability, how you can create original content, how to be, resilient, building trust, and all those things. Now, of course, we have to get to the meat. How do you tell the story? And also, how do you create a brand online? Because, everybody uses their social media, everyone's an influencer on Instagram. I don't know what you're influencing. Who give it a tag? Like you said, everyone is like, I'm a journalist, but are you really a journalist or are you really an influencer? So to speak about this, about branding, how to create a brand online, an image online, maybe a portfolio, because portfolio is also very important. So people can keep track. You can keep track of your success and achievements. I'll come to the stage, my Kenyan brother, the storyteller, the YouTuber, the brander, Mr. Joel.
Thank you very much for that introduction. That is branding. Yeah, because I paid him to brand me properly before I get on stage, right? So let me start by introducing myself. My name is Joel Oriasi. I go by JJ. Has nothing to do with Okocha. My father started calling me JJ before Okocha was a footballer. Yeah. You were talking about someone old. I'm one of those. It's not just you. I was 42 years old 6 years ago, and I still go with 42 years old today.
Still young.
So I came to Turkey in the year 2010. I've been here for 14 years. A lot of you are 15. Yeah, you can see my math is not the best. Good with branding, nothing else. You know? So I came here in 2010. It's been 15 years. I studied Turkish in Ankara University. Then I came to Istanbul and started studying media. And in my university, it was taught as radio, television, and cinema. And when I was studying that, I was like, what am I going to choose? What am I going to do? And around 2011, social media had started becoming popular. And they even added classes of social media. We were calling it new media at the time. Now it's old media. Yeah, so we did that as well. And when I graduated from university, I was like, I studied radio, I studied television, I studied cinema. I have to do all of them. And I am very lucky to say that in my professional life, I have done radio. I'm actually a radio presenter. Radio is dead, but in Turkish, in TRT as well, the only channel playing foreign music. I have like 400 episodes under my belt. Wow. And we're still going on. I was also very lucky to be on TV. I've been on cinema, I've been on TV series, I've been on YouTube, I've been everywhere. I've been lucky to have created content that made me appear in all these different platforms of media. And now I'm in AI, I guess. Artificial intelligence is a new thing, and I'm there. I'll be there very soon. So yeah, that's my background. So when I graduated from university, I started making content online. And the creation of the content was basically me wanting to tell a story. So when I came to Turkey, there were not as many Africans as you see today. If I saw an African in the street, I would stop them. Who are you? Where are you from? What's your name? Where do you live? I would want to know everything about them because they were rare. Now we sit in the bus and I don't even bother to ask their name. And I think that's a good thing. I don't need to know them. Their existence is already a good enough story to show how the world is intertwined. So I started making content because I wanted to tell the African story. Turkish people are very curious. Everywhere we went, it was Nerelisin. Where are you from? Baban ne iş yapıyor? You know, nerede oturuyorsun? Kiran kaç? So they were very curious. And I used to be asked the same set of questions by everyone I meet. So I was like, I keep on telling the same thing to different people all the time. There has to be a different way of doing this. And that's how I started my YouTube channel in the year 2016. I came in 2010, 6 years later, I started it because after 6 years is when I thought my Turkish was good enough. And I said, I'm going to challenge myself and start a channel only in Turkish to improve my Turkish, but also to speak to the Turkish people who are my primary audience. I wanted to tell the African story. Huh?
That was me.
Yeah. We met at the workplace. She knew me from online and then from the internet, and then we met at the workplace, and she was like, "What?" So I started telling the African experience to the Turkish people. I started to tell a story, and what story was I telling? I was definitely telling the story that's not being told, which goes to branding. Africa and many countries from Asia have been branded in a certain type of way. And all of you know about that experience. When we say Africa, we talk about disease, sickness, kids, war, famine, drought, no water, etc. But Africa is more than that. So that is something I was already conscious about when I was starting my channel. And that in itself was an example of me trying to rebrand Africa. I know it's not my responsibility. It cannot be put upon one person's shoulder, but a drop in the ocean can make a difference. And I wanted to do what I could do. So from that example that I've given about myself, you can think of branding as storytelling. Branding is telling the reality of what is. And branding is a promise. Branding is telling people about what is and what they're supposed to be expecting. Because now I can give you an example of my Turkish friends who came to Kenya saying Africa Choksi Jack, and they came with t-shirts and shorts because it was a summer holiday. And I had to give my sweater to my friends because they were freezing, because it was 10 degrees. So that's how my journey started. And today, I'm in TRT World, like my other colleagues around here, and I'm telling stories. My career of telling stories still continues in news. I'm producing documentaries, and with the documentaries, we are telling stories. So I had a few notes. That's a little bit about myself. And now I have a few notes to talk about branding in particular. And I have a few quotes. The first quote is from one of the richest people in the world. I don't believe in billionaires. I don't think they should exist. But still, I will quote one of them. Jeff Bezos says, "Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room."
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm not here, I wonder what they'll say about me. Whatever it is they say about me is the brand. If you don't like what they say about you when you're not around, there is something you should change about yourself, or change about the way you present yourself. I want to give you another quote. This quote is from someone called Seth Godin. Seth Godin has been an author for a very long time. He talks about media. He talks about brand. He's one of the most famous people when it comes to branding. And he had a blog. In fact, he has the world's most read blog because he started back then when there was emailing lists. And he used to send an email. His blog was an email, and everybody would read the email every single day. Seth Godin says, "A brand is a set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that, taken together, account for consumers' decision to choose one product or service over another." So brand is not your logo. A brand is not the videos you make online. A brand is not the color you choose. All those things come after the promise you make to your consumers. I want to tell a personal story about my sister. I have an elder sister, and she's a better storyteller than I am, but I took the storytelling career. When we were kids, we would go outside and play, or go to our cousins, go somewhere else, visit some people, etc. And when we would come back home, we would be telling the stories. And me, as a storyteller or a wannabe storyteller, I would be excited to tell my dad how things were. And then I would start, "Dad, it was like this, it was like that." And my dad would say, "JJ, where's your sister? Let her tell the story." Because of the way she would tell the stories. So when you get in your when you get in the moment where you want to make something out of yourself, remember that branding has nothing to do with the logos, with the images you make, with the colors you choose. All that comes after you decide on what story you want to tell, on how you want to present yourself. And now, I'm not going to keep this long. The program is long. It is now built by God, Allah, or it is now your responsibility to represent Africa in this country the way it should be. And the reason being, we as Africans, we are not the only ones losing. The Turkish people are losing as well. There's so much in Africa that people can benefit from, Turkish people can benefit from, but they don't, because they don't have the correct brand of what Africa is. So that is your responsibility to represent Africa, to represent your country as it should be. And I'll leave you with that.
Oh boy. I don't know. I felt like. Do you want to continue? Where is it? Felt like you could speak for another 10 minutes and I'd listen to it. Sure, it was the same for you guys. Thank you, Joel, for sharing your insight with us and telling us what you told us. It's very, very insightful listening to people who are not only working in the field but also people who have been doing this out of passion, because you can hear it stemming from their voices. The people that have spoken up until now, like Mr. Nasidi, he said he has always wanted to be a journalist. He was literally born into the system. Ms. Halima, same thing. Also, Joel, even though he wasn't his dad's favorite child when it comes to storytelling, but he beat the odds, and now he's like, this is the biggest, I can do it and I will do it. Speaking about that, there's this quote from Henry Ford. He said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So basically, choose your poison. If you think you can go do it. If you think you can't, you're also right. I'll share a personal story, second one. The year is 2009. I was in Kayseri. Yeah, I know, shocker. I was in Kayseri. If you don't know Kayseri, it is a very cold city, Anatolian city in Turkey. And I was 15. Don't do the maths. So I was 15 at the time, and I was supposed to make another speech like this. I was in high school at that time, so I was going to talk to people. So like 50 people in front of my buddies. These are people that I know. We share the same classroom and also the same hostel. So, everything was great. I was like, yeah, I got this. Until, I walk into the room, I see a lot of people, they're anticipating. Just the same way you're looking at me right now. That was when the tension started setting in. Like, okay, what the hell am I going to talk about? Come to the stage, same way like this. It was a little bit higher and they were lower, so, we're going to make a speech. I couldn't. The word wouldn't come out. And my teacher at the time would say that, okay, you can start, the stage is yours. And I couldn't, I was stuck. And he came to me and he said, what's the problem? I was like, can I present to the people like this? And he was like, obviously not. You have to face the people and speak. And he said, why wouldn't you present that way? And I said something that would haunt me for the remainder of my time in that high school. I said, Hojam Korkuyorum. I said, I'm scared. So that was a brand for me at the time. Anyone who would see me would say Hojam Korkuyorum, behind my name. And I made it a life purpose never to be anxious, worried, perplexed in front of people. I started taking courses on how to do public speaking. I started training people on how to do public speaking. I got into TRT. I said I want to be in front of camera. And also I had one of my time in front of a lot of people, dignitaries. And this was a huge, when it comes to goals, was a huge achievement for me to be able to speak in front of people without shaking, without being scared, and saying exactly what I want to say. So yes, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So moving on, I know this has been long. We still have more. How are we feeling? Sorry? You're feeling great? It's hot in here? All right, okay. I share the same sentiments with you. It's very hot in here. That's the reason why we've created and brought you guys some refreshments. So you can go, get refreshed a little bit, come back, and then we have like another 3 hours for you. I'm just kidding. we have, we're gonna start wrapping it up for you guys, and we'll be done. But we will be taking a break, commercial break. We don't have any commercial. We have Afix and Taba here, so definitely make sure that you check this out. It's a Africa Turkey Business Organization Forum. Check it out, see what it is all about while you're sipping your.
If you let anybody who wants to participate, because they can get when outside can contribute because of our shop. So they can go and eat. Anybody wants to go and eat can contribute.
Okay, if you wanna, I think it's better we give them 15 minutes break. Let's give them 15 minutes break. 10.
5-10 minutes break. Cool.
Five.
5 minutes break.
So that we can
So that we can go home. Yeah.
Democracy. Okay, we're going with 5 minutes break. Let's get refreshed and we'll be back to continue. Thank you.
Hello, Sally.
Almost somewhere. My saying that's saying çok kolay sayıyoruz. Yok şurada bir kere ne yapayım? Şey yapalım. Su getiriyorsun. Şimdi Abdullah konuşmuş. Sonra siz konuşacaksınız. Sonra ayarlayabilirsiniz. Sonra içerisinde son 6 ay sonra şöyle yapacak. Bizden falan bahsedecek. Devamlı bir şey. Toparla. Belki su getirelim.
All right. You see? Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I know the meat pie is very scrumptious. Ladies and gentlemen, we're starting. Please take your seats. We're starting. Ladies and gentlemen, we're starting. Please take your seats. Okay. All right, so we're gonna continue from where we stopped. We're gonna start from where we stopped. So among our journalist panels, I actually was supposed to introduce someone, but I skipped that. And that's because I wanted us to have a little bit of a fresh breath to be able to, continue. I'd like to call to the stage the brains behind today's event, the person who organized, thought, executed this program, someone who is also working in the media house, like myself. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Abdullahi Kaka.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you had a good meat pie. Thanks to Cook by Yasmin, yeah? Cook with Yasmin. And thanks to Afex also for being one of the big sponsors of this event. I would like to share my story talking about goals. I don't know if Sheda is listening. I first studied accounting back in Nigeria. I studied accounting for 4 years, and I realized that's not what I want to do. I want to do something else. I've been watching BBC, I've been listening to BBC, I've been watching the BRTV, the Borno Radio Television, and I wanted to be a presenter. I wanted to be on screen. I don't want to count money for somebody else. So I decided to apply for university, after I finished my first degree, I applied for a second degree here in Turkey, Istanbul University, very close to here. And they gave me 50% scholarship. At that time, I was really happy. I was like, wow, 50% scholarship. I didn't know that they were giving 100% to people, but then I was lucky to get them. When I came, I started cinema television program. And while I was doing that, my whole mindset was to become a presenter when I finished. And I had a video in 13, where I was asked what I want to become in the future. And I said, I want to be a presenter. I want to be a presenter. If presenting doesn't work, I'll do a PhD. And I said that like a joke in a class. We had a video recording class. So fast forward 3 years later, I became a presenter. I've done my PhD. I'm currently finishing it. And I felt like, no, I don't want to be a presenter anymore. I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to make money. Because as a presenter, of course, you're on TV, but if you're on TV, you don't have so much money, it makes no sense. I disagree with you. I don't like billionaires. I like billionaires. I want to be one. Because money is actually, they said it's the root of all evil. I said, no, money actually is the root of all goodness. So the whole idea of this event, Next Visionaries, is to make people have a vision of themselves. I just said I had a vision of becoming a presenter. I became a presenter like 3 years after my vision. And I said, I don't want to be a presenter. 3 years later, I established Arewaworld in 2018. I quit my job. I was a presenter. I was earning good money. I said, no, I don't want to do this. I want to start something else. I established Arewaworld. But, entrepreneurship is a very difficult venture. So when I started, because I don't have money, I had to go back to, I have to apply for the job. I applied back to TRT and I went back to TRT to start. My friends always ask me, why don't you want to be back on street? I said, no, I've done that. I've passed. I don't want to do that. I'm on to the next one now. I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to make money. I want to make impact on people. So I decided to create this event, Next Visionaries, because all of us go to school. Most of you are students. We go to university and then we finish, we graduate, and we hope that we're going to have jobs waiting for us. No, it's not true. You can finish your university and then there is no job and then you become a nuisance. Your father will be looking at you like, bro, I wasted all this money. You went to Istanbul, I paid for the accommodation and there is no job coming. If you get lucky, some people are lucky. I was one of the lucky ones, alhamdulillah. After my university, I got several jobs. I got a job in Berlin. I went there. I didn't like it. I said, I don't want to be there. I came back. I came back and I got a job immediately here in Turkey. And I quit that one as well. And I was lucky again to get another one. So, but luck is something that you just said, if you think you can or you can't, it's true. So luck is not something that just happens or you're lucky to be there. No, luck is something that you vision. Luck is something that you set. It's a goal that you set for yourself. So for me, I have 4 archetypes that I want to talk about. All of us, one morning, we wake up one morning. I think almost everyone has that. Someday you just wake up, you don't want to do anything. You just want to lie down on your bed. You don't want to do anything. They'll call you, bro, let's go play football or let's go do something. You're like, no, I don't want to. I just want to relax. That day, your archetype is the lazy one. You have a lazy archetype. Someday, you have a very big crisis. Like, for example, mid-pie woman. She said, like, I cannot make it, I'm scared. But something will tell you, like, no problem, you're going to make it. That's the wise one in you. Some people have different personalities. Some people have 7, some people have 8. I know if you've been working with people, these are my colleagues. Some days she comes different person. Another day she comes a different person, but she's always, Irem is always the same, always happy. So everybody has, even my wife, like some days she wakes up and it's not like she just don't want to be happy. No matter what you do, she's just sad that day. And even you, your friends, sometimes you meet people and they just don't want to be happy because on that day, the dominant force in them is a different archetype. So on my journey, I realized that there are 5 major archetypes that people need to understand and know about. If you know that, then you can achieve any goal you put your mind to do. This is small, but the dream is to have 4 more big ones, and the biggest one will be in Nigeria. This is the first one, Next Visionaries. So we have more to come. So I want us to do an exercise, how we can tap into our archetype, and then achieve our goal, achieve any passion that we want to achieve. If you wouldn't mind, I would like all of you to stand up, if you wouldn't mind. So, now that you're standing, I want you to tap into your warrior archetype. Because to achieve any goal, you have to change the state of mind. You have to change your state. If you're weak, I'll give you a map. Someone who is sad, depressed, how does he look? Like his posture, is he standing firm or is he bending? Yeah? Everyone knows that. It's not because it's something special, but it's because sadness or depression is a state of mind. It's a state where people are. And for you to have a positive state, for you to have to change your mindset, or for you to make any change, you have to change your state. If you don't change your state, you're not going to achieve what you want. Your goals, you can have so many goals, but you're not going to achieve any of it. So to change your state, one thing that you can do at the moment is to tap into your archetype, the archetype that you have. So for example, if you're feeling low, to make yourself feel happy one more time, you can do what we're going to do now. You can stand up and then activate your warrior archetype. If you notice, most of the action films like Superman and all that, the heroes are posting like this. So I would like you to post like a hero. Like, tap into your hero mindset. What sound does heroes make? I want to hear you. I want to hear the heroes and you people. Like, let me hear. For me, it's like Let's hear the heroes. Don't you have heroes in you? I want to hear the heroes in you. Let me hear. Wake your hero up. When you wake your hero up, I can see all of you now are laughing because you already changed your mindset. Your who is in charge of yourself right now is your hero. Anything that comes at this moment, you feel like I can tackle it. At this moment, I can tackle it. So, where do you see your hero? Where do you feel it? Where is your hero?
Right now.
Where in your body? Where do you feel? For me, my hero is here. Everyone has a different place where their heroes are. Where is it? Here, chest, who, hand. Who else? Where's your hero? So tap that place and say, my hero. Listen, my hero. Wake your hero. So talk to yourself. Like Shayna said, you can close your eyes and then think of your stuff. Yeah. So close your eyes, tap into your hero, and say, my hero. Is your hero awake? Yes. So ask your hero, what does your hero want from you? Think of a goal that you want to achieve. What goal do you want to achieve right now? What goal do you want to achieve? You want to buy gold? Gold is expensive. It's very easy, your husband knows. So we can sit back down. So you can see, immediately you change your state of mind in less than a second. In less than a second, when you wake your hero up, your hero will be there for you to make you have an idea, to make you stand about anything, to make you face any challenge in front of you. It doesn't matter whatever it is. You can face it. You'll be like, I will do it, I will pass it. And sometimes there is an archetype, also there is the wise one. The wise one has also his own sound. If someone is wise, what sound do you usually attach to a wise person?
Silence.
Silence for you. Who else? What sound do you attach to your wise one? For me, it's yeah. And I feel my wise one here always. So the wise one is the smart one. He always knows a trick. He's like a magician. If there's a problem, be like, I know the solution. So next time when you're into a problem, you can just sit back and tap into your wise one, be like, wise one, guide me. And then you find a solution. You see something. You find an answer within you, because all of us have the answer within us. We are part of the universe. We are all part of the universe. None of us is, of course, we have different thumbprints, but we are connected one way or the other. Sometimes you go to work, the next person sitting next to you is sad and it affects your own sadness. If the next person is happy, it affects your emotions. So That's because the dominant force in the person next to you is either the wise one or the lazy one, or we have the other one, the ancestral one, the one that has so much information. For me, I tap it here. So you can see I'm sweating from my head. Because my ancestral ones are always like feeding me with information of what to say. You get me? And if you notice, a lot of people who are like scholars or think a lot, they always have like bald head. Simply because the dominant force, the dominant archetype they have is their ancestral archetype. So when they think, they're always thinking, they're always trying to find a solution. So the ancestral one is the supreme one, is the one that always have like he knows the answers to everything. And then we have the lover. Everyone feel love sometimes. Everyone feel love. You come home and you have your girlfriends or your husband or your boyfriend, you feel love. And where do you feel your love? Some people, they feel in their stomach. That's why they say we feel butterflies. Some people feel that at their back. So all these are archetypes that you need to know, that you need to tap into while you're in trouble. So sometimes some people go to work, they go to office, and then they take their warrior to work. Warrior is not a worker. So that's when you go to work with your warrior, you're fighting everybody. They will say, for example, give me a Yule, for example, give me a story. And then it becomes a fight. Why would I be the one giving you the story? Why don't you give somebody else? Because your warrior is the one in charge. So you have to understand what archetype you're going to work. For example, for me, sometimes I go to work, I lose. Sometimes, of course, you go off the rail sometimes. Sometimes I go with the warrior mindset to work. And then I fight everybody. And then I come back to myself like, no, this is not this person that's supposed to be here. Let's get the next person. Let's get the smart one. Let's get the wise one. Let's get the lover. And there is a procrastinator. You can wake up one day, you don't want to do anything. You have a story to write. You have a story to write and be like, I don't want to write it. For example, today, almost all of us are late to this program. They say it's African time. No, it's not African time. It's because we were procrastinating. We left home late. If you have a program at 1 p.m., you're supposed to leave home at maybe 11 because you're in Istanbul. The traffic will take about an hour and a half of your time. So the procrastinator is the one that is actually delaying you, making you think you can do it tomorrow. But you don't have tomorrow, you have only today. So you have to do whatever you want to do today. So the idea of monetizing your passion is for you to tap into these archetypes that you have. For example, a lot of us here, most of you, none of you want to be a journalist, as Antalima asked, so who wants to be a journalist? No, but what else do you want to become? The other girl says she wants to be, she's doing Clara Muta business, I believe, and Sensbona. Who else? Go.
I'm a computer repair. I have a company teaching small kids about programming, robotic and programming.
That's wonderful. Please clap for him because we like that in northern Nigeria, especially in Arewa. We like that. We don't have people who are into computer programming. We don't have people who are doing that. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, we are into health and education consultation.
Health and education consultation. That's a good one also. So consult me. Why do we have so much rise in cancer these days? Yeah. That's good. So who else has a passion? Who else has something that? Okay, I'll also give one story of myself before I round up. While I was in university in Maiduguri, I opened a shawarma shop because I love shawarma. In Abuja, we had one of the best shawarmas in Abuja. It's called, I think it's drumstick shawarma. It was the best shawarma. When I went to Maiduguri, they didn't have good shawarma. They had one shawarma called Downtown. And I realized, I love this stuff. Why don't I monetize it? Why don't I make it? And then I told myself, have a shawarma business. First year, I didn't have a business. I was suffering. Second year, when I came back from my holiday, I established a shawarma business. And back in those days, like that is 2010, 2011, daily I made 40,000 naira, which is approximately $300 today. Wow. Daily. And I have a Friday promo where on the promo you buy one shawarma, you get free drink. So because I'm close to the university, a lot of students come because students love promo. Even here, because I said it's free, that's why a lot of people come. If it's paid, people might not come. So because you buy one shawarma, you get free drink. On Fridays, every Friday, I make nothing less than $700. Every Friday. And that is back in those days. I bought myself a car. When I was coming to Turkey, I sold everything. I closed my shop, and everyone was like, "Why would you do that? Like, you have a traveling business. You should continue." I'm like, "No, I'm done with this adventure. I want to move to the next one." And I sold my car. I sold it at that time, 700,000 naira. It's not much. I sold all the equipment, the shawarma place, and then I came here. When I came here, my parents thought I'm going to continue a master program. When I told them, no, I'm starting afresh, I'm doing something else, my dad was like, I'm not going to pay for this. Because he already paid my undergrad. He said, I'm not paying for this. And I'm like, no problem. We'll find a way. So you have to put your mindset, you have to know how you can monetize what you love doing. For example, cook with yes, right? I think she loves cooking, that's why she established her business. So she's monetizing what she loves doing. What else do you love doing? I'm asking everyone now. What else do you love doing? Patial.
Many things.
Like the most special, like when you just think of it now, what do you love doing?
Playing golf.
Playing golf. But can you make money? Can you make money playing golf? You say, I don't know. Taibe, what else? What do you love doing?
Pottery.
Pottery.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself monetizing your passion to make money?
I can sell the products I make.
That's wonderful. Adama.
I love writing.
You love writing. I can see you're writing right now. You're monetizing your passion already. You're making money from writing. So the whole idea of monetizing your passion is to tap into yourself and see what you love doing. What is it that I love doing the most? What is it I want to see myself doing in the next 5 years? Shella said you should close your eyes and vision yourself in the next 5 years. For me, 5 years actually is too much. Think of 3 years. What impact am I going to make in the next 3 years? Close your eyes and then think of it. And then tell yourself, tell your archetype, tell your ancestors, because the ancestors in you, these ancestors in your DNA, it has your great-great-grandfather's information stored in you. Ask it, guide me. Of course, people will say some people meditate, some people do incantations. No, it's not. It's all tapping into your archetype. Some people, of course, they call it zikri in Nigeria. You see, and people will be making the tasbih and be doing this. It's meditation. You're waking your ancestral powers, because nobody is supposed to come here and suffer. God didn't send people here to suffer. Those who suffer choose it because they feel like I can't. Or the government. It's easy to blame somebody else. It's very easy to blame somebody else. Like, yeah, I cannot make it because the government is taxing me too much. Then do something else that the government will not tax you. You get my point? So the idea of monetizing your passion is for you to tap into that thing that you love doing and then find a way to monetize it. If you love writing, you can write for TRT, you can write for BBC, you can write for Al Jazeera, and you get paid for it. As a student, I think per article is $150 that they pay. $150 will help you a long way. You didn't just come here as a student and then you learn and then go back to Nigeria and wait for your uncle to give you a job. I know you have rich uncles and all that, but still, some of the uncles will take your CV and it will be there for 50 years. He doesn't even know where he kept the CV. So you have to understand that. That's why I made this, because I told Nasiri, I said, we have this gap among our people, especially those who came here to study. A lot of the students who come here, they come and they waste their parents' money. I know someone who is here for 4 years, and the dad was about to come for the graduation when they realized the boy was actually in part 1. And every year, he takes tuition fee, he takes rental money, he takes pocket money. Every year, nothing less than $12,000 each year. And then the dad was like, what should I do? I said, take him back to Nigeria, let him go to the federal university there. He should learn how to. Because it's not easy. I have another story right now. Someone who his dad sent him here to study. He came here to study, but he stopped studying. He started following his friends to take shisha, to take drugs. And the dad called me. He said, what is the issue? I said, the issue is you have to take him back home. Because you cannot let people train your son for you. It's not possible. You have to train your son by yourself. Like, okay, I'm doing this because I believe those who will come here, even though I know 90% might not use what they learned here, but I hope that they use it. But When you come here, you learn something that will help you achieve your goal in the future. That's why I made this next visionaries, and that's why I'm trying to do more. Because in northern Nigeria, we have the highest illiteracy rate in the world, one of the highest in the world. Women don't go to school. Women don't go to school. Those who are in school don't study properly. They say the government does. What government? It's not government that's going to study for you. So the whole idea of this passion, the monetize your passion, is for you to tap into this archetype. How you need to monetize how you need to tap into archetype is by changing your state. I just showed you one way to do that. I will show you more eventually in the next sessions, in the next workshop that we're going to do. I have so many to discuss, but this is just one. Just stand up, stand firm, and then tap into your heart, make the sound. You immediately change your state of mind. You you become more positive. And then when you do that and you make a decision and you make a choice of, okay, I want to do something with my life, then you can make it happen. So I hope that this would resonate with a lot of you. And then, yeah, you can visit Arewaworld.com to get more information about that, because
shameless plug.
That's where I post a lot of my stuff there. And I have YouTube channel as well, you can go there. And I would like to personally thank Fatih Hoja and Nabil, because they are actually one of the sponsors of this event. I'm coming back to make the closing remark. I just felt like I need to thank them, because to be a sponsor of a pioneer event, this is the first one. And then they believe in the event, that's why they sponsored it. So what Fatih does, he's going to come on stage to tell you what he does, but I want to tell you also, I know a lot of you have uncles and aunties that want to invest or want to have businesses with Turkey. How you need to do? Affix. I can change it. Affix is I'll put it later on. Affix, you have the flight actually in your table. Affix is your right place. Affix is the key people that you can communicate with. If you want to bring something from Nigeria or you want to send something to Nigeria, Fatih Abe knows all the connections. If you check his on Google, just write Fatih Abe, you will see him with the president. So he has all the connections. He's going to tell you more about that, and then I'll come back to thank all the participants as well. So thank you very much. That's my time, and then I hope you learned something from this discussion.
I really want to just end the program because he had a mic drop moment there. I want to thank I don't know, not only organizer, the guy behind it, Abdullah Kaka, for giving us such a powerful speech. I'm very sure everybody right now feels energized. And I don't know, when you go home, do you make a roaring sound? Do you make a howling sound? Do you moo? Do you neigh? I don't know what kind of inner energy you have, but when you go home, definitely you tap in something. And also, I just wanted to add there that you spoke about your ancestral archetype. One thing for sure, those guys, they have 99 problems, but self-confidence is not one. They definitely are okay with the way they look and also the way they feel about what they feel. So now, to build up on what he said, I want to introduce the business tycoon. I want to introduce the business tycoon, someone who I met just a few months ago. We had the opportunity of speaking a little bit, and also I was the MC and also the moderator at the Apex 2024. I think that's the second edition. Mr. Fatih Akbulut, he's a founder of Apex and also the chairman of the Turkish African Business Association, TABA. Also, like I aforementioned before, he's someone who has been in and out of Africa a lot of times, more than me, more than all of you. So he knows all the nooks and crannies of Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a sound welcome for Mr. Fatih Akbulut.
Okay, first better. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'm humbled. I do try to do as much as possible to foster Turkish-African business relationships, and I've done that in the past, but I'm going to start with a joke, actually. Those of you who knows Nasruddin Hoca, raise your hand. Okay, so Nasruddin Hoca one day gets approached by one of the village chief, and he says, Hoca, you speak so nice when you go and speak to the public, especially in the mosque. So next time we want you to come to our village. And Nasir just says, well, I can, but I charge. He says, Hoja, you don't charge, to come and speak. He says, well, that's the way it works. I'm sorry, but, that's the only way I can do this. So they get, a certain amount of money from each villager, let's say about 100, gold medallions at the time. He takes the money and then he goes up there and he gives a great speech. And everybody's so happy about it. Then when the speech is over, they say, Hoja, thank you very much for your speech. Everybody was very inspired. So just tell us, what exactly is this deal with the money? He says, well, take this money back, but let me explain it to you. First of all, when you give $1 or a golden medallion for something and then you listen to it, people listen to it a lot better than what they normally would. So that, when people pay for trainings, they usually listen a lot more carefully. And he says the second thing is when you've got pocket in your money, the way you talk really changes. So, that makes that means he's the richest person among us. He was the best speaker today. So let me explain to you about myself a little bit. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. I'm an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. I have studied in the United States. I came back to Turkey in 2006, and I started from scratch at the time. Maybe we have found over 20 different businesses over this period. Some of them have failed, some of them we have sold for exited with good final results. And we have learned a lot through this time. But what has really fed my heart overall is TABA, Turkish African Business Association. Turkish African Business Association was founded in 2012. It's a non-profit organization to foster Turkish African business relationships. And I have visited over 37 countries in Africa, and we have hosted over 10,000 people, business people in Turkey over the last 13 years. My first, when you were in Kayseri last time, in 2009, that was my first visit to Tanzania in 2009. And since then, I've been traveling and I've seen so many places in Africa, and we have tried to do our best to teach both sides on how to do business together, how to achieve something together. Of course, in business life, you do get into a lot of challenges. There's a lot of fights that you have to fight, and it's not easy. It really is not easy. So when you are talking about archetypes, when you're talking about, can you do it or can you not do it? Usually the inner self tells you, okay, this is the type of business I can do, and this is the type of business I cannot do. So you usually know when you go to sleep and put your head in the pillow, you know at the end of the day, it is a type of business that you can do, and it is a tackle, it is a challenge that you can overcome. So you really need to know about yourself. There are different types of businesses, there are different types of ventures that you can get into. Of course, starting small is very important. But at the end of the day, there is always a challenge in every business, in every venture that you get into. So are you the fighting type or are you not the fighting type? You really need to know about this. Otherwise, you cannot really succeed. So, saying all this, of course, there are so many stories over the last, 15 years we have learned from Africa. Of course, traveling around the globe to organize all these events under TABA. AFEX is actually So if you look at it as a big problem and you start going hiding in your bed, this is one way to look at it. If you look at it as a challenge and as a puzzle that you need to solve, that attitude usually gets you to the next level, and it just keeps going and going and going. I'll give you an example from FX, which is very interesting. The first FX lost close to $350,000. There was a loss, the first FX. And so I automatically had to become, we have a group of companies called Turbulence, and so Turbulence had to be the main sponsor. We had no choice. So, and after the event, we looked and see what was it that we did not do right. And we came about with this final result is from the Turkish side and from the African side. Business people, they want to do business together, but they don't know how to do business together. The Turkish side has this mentality of an industrialist. They've been going to so many different industrial exhibitions, and usually they are looking for people who know exactly about that business and ask them the right questions, sit down, write an order, and then it's finished. They just want to sell, sell, sell. That's the Turkish industrialist's mentality. Now, from the African entrepreneurs or African business persons world, there are so many things that can be done with Turkey, but the Turkish business person's mentality will not take him anywhere because he doesn't know what to buy. He doesn't know how he can implement that product into the market. He doesn't know where to start usually. So the companies who have succeeded, the Turkish companies who have succeeded in Africa, such as Dorpash, such as Waikiki, such as Flow, such as Archery, they always looked at it as, okay, what I need to change to approach to this market? What exactly it is that I need to change my business model to so that we can succeed? In order to be able to do that, you need to have people explain to you, people who know about Africa, explain to you what are the business people. You have one business person on this side who have just came out of FX. His products are like selling water in the middle of the Saharan desert. So it's like a no-brainer. He should be able to sell it. But the way he packages his products, the way he tries to explain the product to the other side is so complex and so technical that he cannot make it simple enough for the potential partner in Africa that it ends up being or going into waste. So we have started with FX to change this. So now I go to different universities in Turkey, I go to different business unions. Industrialists, I explain Turkish exporting managers how to change your business in such a way that it fits in Africa, that you can do business in Africa. And then I go to Africa, and our team, our guys go to different places in Africa and do the other way around. What's the mentality of the Turkish business people? How do you approach it to bring their ideas, to bring their products to the local market here in your region? So, of course, these are both different topics. They're one of these seminars takes about 3 hours for the Turkish side, and another 3 hours for the African entrepreneurs. But until we solve this problem, we will not start seeing so much, let's say, growth in business overall. So now many of the Turkish business people have started understanding, and they're changing their business models to fit into the region. And it works also the other way. Recently we have visited an African state, and I will be going to another one in the beginning of March. We will be going with a good delegation from Turkey, and also we will be meeting the president of that country. And when we go to that meeting, we try to explain that the Turkish side is now ready to do business. What is it exactly it is that you're looking for? And also the Turkish side knows that the business people from that specific country are already trained, they know enough so that they can sit down and talk about the same language. So that's how I'm going to end my, let's say, speech. I would like to thank you guys for organizing this wonderful event, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot better every year. That's what we have seen in the past, so hopefully it will get better and better. And thank you for listening.
Thanks to Mr. Fati for giving us this speech and also sharing with us his experiences. Um, Again, he has spoken about some of his achievements and also the things that he's done. He shared with us his his successes, his failures, the routes he has followed to where he is today, and also the organizations, his market, his target, his resilience, everything that he has done, which is all part of the theme that we've been speaking about since the beginning of today. It's just everybody sharing their experiences and also talking about why you need to do what you're doing and never give up on what you're doing. Now, moving on, we have our last, but not the least, second to last. Yeah, second to last. Yeah, I mean, I was going to talk about people who are going to come speak. They're also going to speak about the business side as well, just to build up on what Mr. Fati has said. They also have different backgrounds in the field. They've started different things and they still continue doing it. We have two people to speak. They're going to do it very briefly. We have Noor with us today. Um, she started her career in media, and just like I think most of us, and she continued working in tech. So she's also a divergent, I guess. She decided she didn't want to become a presenter at some point. She wanted to go somewhere else. Then she helped startups to find investment, I think. And also she does work in American education tech. And she is also one of the founding members of a lot of fintechs, startups, and now she is working, I think, in the modest customers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Noor to the stage.
Everyone. Thank you for being here on a rainy Saturday. And I know it's been a long short. So today's session topic was scaling your startup, how to transition from small to big. So let me actually maybe mention how I ended up in startups and how I actually sort of exited startup world for some time. So when I started my career in media at Arewaworld, this is how I know many people here. I worked first as a producer in the digital department, and then I moved to the data science team as a strategist, where I helped the documentary Teresa Bagasar team to create a data-driven strategy. My background is in economics. I studied economics in the US, and then I moved to Turkey. And I actually didn't know what to do, except Charity World was a great place to start because it's people who actually help you grow, and it was a great international community there. And then afterwards, I ended up at Yıldız Technopark as a program manager, where I helped startup founders find mentors, organize programs, and find investments. And I actually, when I started 2 years into my career at TRT, I was I'm not sure if this is something I want to do, and I didn't know exactly what I want to do. I studied economics in university, but my passion was always in making an impact. And I thought I was going to do this through NGO work or creating some sort of like social enterprise what I was like most interested in. Then when I actually like got into the startup world, I really liked their like agile ways of working and how actually they can solve problems traditional institutions can't. And that's actually where I found my ecosystem fit, I thought. While I was like helping startups, I actually was also thinking, where do I go next? And at that time it was COVID, and a lot of international companies were like hiring internationally, and I actually ended up at like an American startup on deck. Their whole idea was being the next educational institution for the world. So I I worked there for 2 years, and then um, as a small team from there, we created like a spin-off company, again in the education sector. The whole idea was to support adults in their like long-term educational journey. So after university, we think our education is done, but or like maybe we do a master's or an MBA, but like it always continues, and we need lifelong like mentors and like teachers to help each other. This is actually what our startup was all about. It's like adult education. And it was post-COVID time. Our startup didn't find traction, and we ended up actually downsizing. That's how I like actually came back to Turkish ecosystem, and I joined another startup called Gold Framer. I joined as the first employee, and I was head of product and marketing. We were again trying something that was a bit different. We were trying to make Islamic art pieces into investment objects. So I was doing another different business model, which I liked. And while I was doing that, I also started my own fashion company. It was like a small experiment. My whole goal and dream there was actually to build a fashion business rooted in Turkish heritage and make that premium, make that relevant for today's audience. That was also my passion project. And in the middle of that, and when I was just like chatting to a friend who later introduced me to LC Waikiki, she was like, have you ever thought of like working in a big corporation because they need people like you who are agile and who can really make a difference? That was actually working in a big Turkish corporation. It was never my dream, and I always avoided that, like since I graduated, because I always was about like making an impact, creating change. And I thought I wouldn't be able to do that if just in a corporation doing the same thing for 20 years. I wasn't like really seeing myself there. But her intro, that like her way of introducing that really helped. Maybe I could, with the support of leadership, I could maybe do innovation there. And at that point, I think what was actually helped me go that way was in startups. It's a lot can fail, and most of the time, 90% it fails. And it's sometimes macroeconomic conditions, as it were the case in American startups, the whole post-COVID situation, investment situation in the US, or the founding team, like you put a lot of time and energy into something that is very early stage, and someone who is early in their careers, sometimes that can be exhausting. And I was like, I want to see scale, and I want to make impact at scale. That's like how I ended up at SC Waikiki. Does anybody do you guys know SC Waikiki, what we do? Okay, you shop from us. I was hoping to see more hands.
Everyone knows that.
Okay. Okay. Good. Maybe I'll do some customer interviews afterwards. So actually, that was very interesting pivot. Like my career is full of pivots from industry to industry, role to role. But that big pivot from like startup to big corporation happened there because I wanted to see something at scale. Yes, change is very slow in big corporations, but the little change you make can create incredible impact. And I started in the CEO's office. CEO's office is not a traditional role, but some companies have it. they usually have in the sales office that are like multiple project managers, and you mobilize teams to create fast change. And I was excited about that because our application as Waikiki Mobile has like 16 million users, and that's bigger than most of the tech companies out there. I was like, wow, this is a great, actually, a tech company within the company. This was initially got me excited, and I worked in e-com projects for 5 months. And then the thing about me is I'm actually really passionate about the business itself, and our product there was actually clothing itself, like the clothes we make. And I was like, when we go down to the first principles, it's about the products we make and our customers, and how do I get my hands dirty in the domain itself and the products itself. And I actually talked to the leadership team about changing to the product team, where so that I was like, can I actually build products, create collections? That was actually a very big pivot from everything I've done in the past. So we are it's still very new, and my passion is actually at LC Waikiki and other places, making Turkish brands go global. And at LC Waikiki, I see a huge potential there. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm in the modest team at LC Waikiki. We have different departments. I am in the team that produces modest clothes for women, and we are building an athletics collection for modest women. As modest women, that's a huge need that many of us face. So I see some hands shaking. So I'd love to get your thoughts after the session. This is what I'm currently working on right now. If anything, from scaling small to big, it's not easy. In order to scale, there's a lot of things that's besides your control. And I think the most important thing is when you see something failing, just take what you can from there and just move on to the next thing. This is what I've been doing, and I've been doing that very repeatedly. My career is full of pivots, but it was a lot of learning, and that's not easy to pivot every time you start all over again. But a lot of things carry on, and it's a different learning journey. So I think my biggest takeaway is that don't be afraid of pivoting and just canceling if it's not working. Knowing your domain really well. If you really going down to the when before this project I started from fabric and the most very basic things. Learn where do we get the fabric, who are our suppliers, and how do we measure products, how do we sample our products. Just when you have that kind of passion and interest in the very small details of your business, I think it's what keeps you motivated. And it's also a game of resilience. In order to motivate yourself, you need very strong motivation while you are doing this. And if you are curious, if you have your curiosity, if it's coming inside you, and that's a really great gift to be grateful for. Thanks for listening, and I'm here after the session if you want to chat.
Thank you, Noah, for your input and your insight. I just want to say something that she mentioned. I think it's kind of the cornerstone of what she said is, when everyone came here and was saying something about, starting small, doing something, there's a quote that I like again. It says, act as if you do make a difference because it does. It doesn't matter how small it is. I have a friend who he graduated from this culinary art or something like that. And his parent was telling me the story that his parent was asking him, what are you gonna do? Okay, you cook and that's it. Are you just gonna open a restaurant, or what are you gonna be doing, or just open a roadside restaurant or something like that? That guy today cooks the meal of the president of Turkey, and he's not even 30 yet. So whatever it is you're doing that you think it's not making a difference, it is. Starting from storytelling. If you tell a story, you don't know who's going to listen to the story. If you write a piece, you produce something, you don't know who is listening, who needed to see that, when, how, what time. I do have a podcast, and I remember I've not been very active because, TRT. But I do have a podcast, and I would have people send me emails about how an episode it resonated with them this long. I don't know this person from Nepal, from Himalayas. Send a message, said that this, and I've been struggling with this for a long period of time and all that. And listening to this, it really helped me. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. If it is Yasmin, if you're cooking your things, keep doing. You don't know where you're going to end up tomorrow. Gordon Ramsay did not start as Gordon Ramsay. He was a nobody before he became the Gordon Ramsay. I mean, some people, you can debate what his food tastes like, but anyways, you remember the famous meme of I think was it the Thailand guy or the Chinese guy who, when Gordon Ramsay tried to cook something from their traditional dish and didn't like it. Anyways, what I'm trying to say basically is she spoke about different pivots, different places she had to go through. Every single experience actually contributes to where you're going. I have not been in media my whole life. I did study media, I think from 2012 to 2021. Yes, I did my master's and everything, but I've not always been in the media. But one way or the other, the knowledge and information and experience I've acquired, and every single one of you have acquired all this time I acquired, actually helped me to become the kind of producer that I became today. I've been to different doctrines. I've just like she's tech, media, fashion. None of those, doctrines are kind of like connected, but one way or the other, life has a way it would connect the dots for you when you find yourself in a place that you're supposed to be. So speaking about a place you're supposed to be, I want to call on our last speaker today. Last but definitely and certainly not the least, a guy who I met just a few months ago, also in AFEX, Mr. Ikenga. As you can hear from the name, I don't know how good you guys are with mythology. It's from Igbo mythology. There is Ikenga is a god of, I don't know the god, but it's a huge god from Igbo mythology. And when he told me his name, Ikenga, and I was like, yeah, this guy is not empty. There's something going on about him. Yeah, certainly something's going on about him. We spoke. Sorry, we spoke, and I call him the jack of all trades, the Swiss knife. If you need something in Turkey, business related, you need to see someone, need to meet someone, need a certain type of connection. That's your guy. If you need to grow your business, that's your guy. If you need any kind of advice, and he's one of the most humble people that I've ever met. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Ikenga to the stage.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ikeda Asman, and the topic I was given is building and scaling businesses. So before I go on, I would like to say he mentioned Igbo, but I was born and brought up in the north. I am more of a Kaduna boy. I grew up in the north, in Zaria particularly. So I am Baoshi. During the last